Guys, welcome back to my channel. I am back with another episode of What If Madara was sealed inside Naruto part 2. And if you did enjoy this video, like this video for the next part. And if you did enjoy this video and if you're new to my channel, like and subscribe and hit that notification bell for more crossover fictions. Now let's begin this new video.
Chapter 4. Well, it escalated quickly. Naruto was currently sitting in his apartment, planning everything. He had just called Rias and invited her to discuss the terms of their alliance in more detail. Today was going to be a busy day for Naruto and everything should have been perfect. That was the facade you put up yesterday with those fallen angels. Madara said as she appeared. Ah, that reminds me. I also have to go see Raynare tonight. Naruto said as he buried his face in his hands. I have no doubt that some problems will arise during the extraction of the sacred gear. And then there's Itachi, who does God knows what. Madara's brow furrowed as she asked a question she'd meant to ask a long time ago. What are you going to do with this sacred gear? Naruto sighed. Since I lost contact with Kurama, I can no longer use his chakra to heal myself. This sacred gear would definitely help me recover my healing factor. There is much more than what you tell me. Naruto nodded. I did some research on the leader of the fallen angels. He's actually a pretty smart guy and has spent quite a bit of time artificially recreating sacred gears. I could perhaps recreate this sacred gear, return it to the nun, and strengthen my position with the church. Naruto and Madara were interrupted by the bell ringing. Naruto got up and walked towards the door. He opened it and saw Rias standing outside. Me, Rias. Naruto greeted with a smile. Come on. Rias smiled and entered Naruto's apartment. They hurried over to the couch to discuss their alliance. You wanted to talk about our deal, right? Rias asked, the smile still on his face. Yes, of course. Naruto took a deep breath and leaned back slightly. While you know my powers and I know yours and your nobility, we haven't exactly gotten to the point where we make anything out of it. So what do you propose? I will help you in battle whenever you wish. You can call me to your aid if it's not just the devil. How do you think? Rias nodded his head. Good idea. So what do you want in return? Rias asked as he moved a little closer to Naruto, a smile still evident on his face. I know demons help other people in the form of contracts. I want to be able to summon members of your nobility without having to pay for it. Is it still doable? Rias put a finger on her chin. Then he smiled once more. I can work with that. Madara, who was watching the two, smiled. Naruto had played his cards right. Now he had gained more control over the Rias nobility and could use it to clean up his dirty work. Naruto, are you free tomorrow by any chance? Naruto had a confused look on his face. Yes. Why do you ask? Naruto may be an accomplished fighter and now an evil mastermind, but he was still clueless when it came to women. I was wondering if we could hang out for a while. You know, getting to know each other better. I'm sure it will help our alliance. Get stronger. Rias still had a smile on her face, but it was different. This smile had a more seductive tone. Naruto smiled. Sure, that would be nice. Madara's approving smile turned into a frown of disapproval. And everything was going so well, Madara murmured to himself. Well, Naruto-kun, as much as I'd love to be here with you, I have business to attend to, so see you tomorrow. Rias then left the apartment, leaving Naruto and Madara alone. Naruto, right now you are walking on thin ice. Madara said frowning. What do you mean? I'm just nice. As you just said, our alliance will benefit. Naruto said with a shrug. Madara sighed. You're still as dumb as ever. Tell me, do you think I would have gotten rid of Obito so easily if you had treated him like my own son? Naruto shook his head. Exactly. You will only end up hurting yourself if you get involved with that woman more than necessary. Keep your relationship with her strictly professional. Madara finished. Naruto fired Madara. As you wish, Maddie-chan. I'm going to do some training. Naruto said as he started walking towards the door. Madara's eyes narrowed. Why should you train? You are already strong enough to face most of these supernatural beings. Naruto pinched the bridge of his nose in frustration. He has nothing to do with that. I haven't entered Sage mode for a while and need to check if I can still absorb natural energy properly. Madara snorted. When he used the powers of the Sage of Hashirama, he didn't even have to check if he could still absorb the natural energy. This because he needed to focus solely on the purpose of gathering natural energy. Naruto felt the powers of the outside world slowly enter him. She could swear she felt herself growing stronger as her chakra felt a burning sensation. Naruto slowly opened his eyes, feeling the energy of all the people who were miles away from him. Naruto slowly made his way to a small stream near the clearing. He looked at the water and saw his reflection of him. He smiled when he saw the familiar orange pigmentation around his eyes. Naruto's happiness was soon replaced by confusion. What happened to my 6-path sage mode that I received from the sage? My truth-seeking spheres also disappeared after I got here. You should ask Maddie-chan later. Naruto thought to himself. Ooh, a human being who can use chakra and senjutsu. Aren't you interesting, NYA? Naruto deactivated his sage mode and turned to see a black-haired woman standing in the clearing. She wore a rather baggy black kimono that revealed a large cleavage. She wore a gold obi around her waist with a string of gold beads attached to it. But the most notable features about him were his yellow cat eyes, tail and black cat ears on top of his head. Naruto narrowed his eyes slightly but smiled anyway. You have no idea how interesting this is. And who are you? The woman laughed and walked over to Naruto, swinging her hips. My name is Kuroka. I am a nekosho and I have never seen a man as strong and interesting as you. How about trying to have kids, NYA? Kuroka asked as he wrapped his arms around Naruto and licked his cheek. Naruto tried to break free from Kuroka's grip. Damned woman. I just met you and you already want to have sex. That's not how it works, exclaimed Naruto. Kuroka released Naruto and pouted. You're not funny, NYA. Kuroka then put his hands on his hips. But I agree, we should go out a few dates earlier and have some passionate kisses, NYA. Naruto was sweating before getting a suspicious look on his face. Wait a minute, how did you know I was using senjutsu? Naruto asked, still suspicious of the nekosho. Because I heard you accumulated natural energy, you fool. Kuroka said, touching Naruto's chest with his finger. And besides, I can use senjutsu myself. But that's enough for me, won't you tell your future mate a little more about yourself, NYA? Kuroka said before facing Naruto, straddling him. Naruto blushed slightly at the rather uncomfortable position he'd been placed in. Be well, the name is Uzumaki Naruto. I like eating ramen, working out and my friends. I don't like it when people complain too much. My dream is to make peace between the three main factions. Naruto concluded. Kuroka's eyebrows raised and a smile appeared on his face. Oh, you certainly dream big, NYA. In fact, I'm very happy that my future partner is such an interesting man, Kuroka said as she licked Naruto's cheek once more. Don't go on. Kuroka's ear suddenly twitched. He sighed as he stepped off Naruto. Sorry honey, I have to go now. But she'll be back to see you soon, NYA. Kuroka then kissed Naruto's cheek and disappeared, as if he had never been there. What the hell? Wow, Naruto. Naruto turned to see that Madara had appeared behind him, and he was smiling. Naruto's eyes widened. He was never handsome when Madara smiled. Someone would end up being raped most of the time when that happens. First take control of Rias, then subdue that fallen angel and here you are again, befriending a catwoman. I didn't know you had it in you. Madara said, wiping away a fake tear. Naruto's eye twitched. Shut up pervert, shame on humanity. Didn't you see what she just did? She almost raped me. You call it flirting? Madara frowned. It's not rape if you can't resist. You could have killed her if you wanted to, but you let her lick her face like you were a bowl of milk. Damn it, you pervert. You're probably just jealous that you can't get laid because you're some kind of stupid ghost, and I've got all these hot bitches chasing me, yelled Naruto as he pointed an accusing finger at Madara. Madara grinned. I could have sex whenever I want. All I have to do is snap my fingers and the women will come to me, said Madara arrogantly. Naruto snorted. Yes, of course. Isn't it a little difficult to have sex if you do? Because you are small. Naruto raised his hand. Enough, Maddie-chan. I must prepare for my meeting with the fallen angels tonight. What will you do with it once you get the sacred gear? Madara asked. Naruto sighed. Thinking smart. And if you were to kill her, we would lose our primary link to the fallen angels. This would delay our plans by a large margin. Exactly, now we just have to hope that the extraction process goes well without too many problems. Naruto finished as he and Madara started to leave the forest. Once out of the forest, Naruto decided to take a walk in the park to clear his head. Little did I know the walk would be anything but relaxing. As Naruto was walking through the park, he suddenly heard a scream. Naruto decided to check it out and was greeted with an unexpected surprise. Asia. Naruto saw Issei standing next to a small, blonde-haired girl. To Naruto's surprise, the two were separated by a light spear. Naruto turned his head slightly to see a figure flying over Asia. The figure had black wings. It was Raynare. Oh, for God's sake. Naruto cursed under his breath. Issei-san, I want to thank you. Asia began with tears in her eyes. Asia, no. I want to thank you for being my first friend, I will never forget you. Moving. Raynare said as she wiped away a fake tear. Sorry, Asia-chan, but your time is up. Then Raynare grabbed Asia and disappeared with her. Asia, Issei yelled. Issei dropped to his knees and started hitting the ground in anger. Naruto decided to intervene before things started to get out of hand. What the hell happened here? Naruto asked, feigning ignorance. Naruto-senpai, Issei yelled as he ran towards Naruto. They took her, they took Asia. Naruto gripped Issei's shoulders tightly. Calm down, you have to stay calm. After a few deep breaths, Issei calmed down. Good boy. Now you have to report what happened to Rias, okay? No time for that. We have to go after her, Issei yelled. Do you want to be called a bum? You can't just go out and do whatever you want, you're just a low-class devil. Issei gritted his teeth. She knew Naruto was right, but she couldn't just leave Asia like that. I'm going to track down that fallen angel, okay. Go tell Rias everything, down to the smallest detail. I understand? Issei's face lit up. Thank you Naruto-senpai, I owe you one. Naruto fired him. Anything. Now go. And with that, Issei escaped. Naruto grinned. He's even duller than me. I think you mean, about what I am. What the hell, Maddie-chan? Stop sneaking up on me like that. And why does he always disappear when all the big stuff happens? Naruto yelled at the grinning form of Madara. It would be a shame to lose your reaction. Madara replied casually. Naruto snorted. Sure, whatever. I have to prepare for the meeting very quickly, I don't have much time before Issei starts chasing the girl again. You know the nobility will probably support him now, right? Naruto nodded. I know, but it doesn't matter. Rias wouldn't take unnecessary risks, so I imagine it will take her a while to convince her to go and save the girl. By the time they arrive, the extraction process will likely be complete. Naruto then rushed back to his apartment to get ready for tonight. These guys don't give up easily. Uchiha Itachi was once again not amused. After arriving in Japan, he discovered something rather troubling. Apparently, the exorcist Itachi fought in his hotel room had followed him to the airport. He had seen Itachi board a flight to Japan and knew that the church in Japan had also been alerted to Itachi's actions, and there was another problem as well. Itachi had no idea where he was. It turned out that Itachi had arrived in some kind of city called Tokyo. Knowing that Naruto was in a small town called Kuo, Itachi had only the faintest idea where to go, and it didn't really help that the exorcists were looking for him. Itachi was currently hiding in an alley, having just escaped the clutches of another group of exorcists. Itachi sighed. If it was someone else he probably would have killed everyone chasing him, but Itachi didn't want unnecessary bloodshed. Looks like you're in a bit of trouble, Itachi-san. Itachi turned to see a rather elegant man standing in the alley. The man had dark green hair and had a kind smile on his face. Itachi raised an eyebrow at the man's sudden appearance. How do you know my name? Itachi asked. Well, Itachi-san, your actions have caused quite a stir in the supernatural world. Itachi's other eyebrow went up. Oh, how rude of me. I am Deodora Astaroth, a demon. The man said with a small bow. Hell, huh. Why did you approach me? Deodora chuckled. For no specific reason, really. It sounded like I was in desperate need of help. Itachi acquired a thoughtful look on his face. This man was traveling to the exact place he was supposed to be. This could not be a coincidence. Very good, Itachi said. Deodora nodded approvingly. Excellent, I think it's time to go. We wouldn't want another group of exorcists on our tails, would we? Itachi said nothing as he followed Deodora. Chaos was the only word to describe the current situation in the abandoned church. Yuto, Kaneko and Issei were fighting quite a large group of acolytes. His goal was to reach Asia, who was chained to a cross across the room. Hyodo-kun, go ahead and save Asia. Kaneko and I will be fine here. Yuto yelled as he punched another acolyte. I can't leave them like this. Issei yelled back. Oh. No one will have to leave anyone now. A voice came from behind them. Issei turned to see Rias and Akeno standing behind him. Akeno-san, bucko. Issei yelled in relief. Akeno, clean up this mess. Rias ordered. Akeno licked his lips. With pleasure, bucko. Then Akeno flew into the air and started shooting lightning bolts, killing all the acolytes. Yosh. Issei said, throwing his fist in the air. Now let's go find Asia. Unfortunately they arrived too late. A green light surrounded Asia as she screamed in pain. Her eyes grew dull and dull as she listened, dangling. Two small silver rings levitated on her body. Raynare grinned maniacally as he reached for the sacred gear, holding it in his hands. Issei dropped to his knees. No, Asia. She didn't do anything wrong, he just wanted a friend. Why did you do this to her? Issei yelled as tears streamed down his cheeks. Raynare laughed. Stupid child. Did you really think that? Well, that's the whole scene. Suddenly, a man had appeared next to Raynare. He wore a black cloak and an orange mask. Raynare's eyes widened as she started shaking slightly. Madara-sama. Rias and his nobility looked on in confusion as the man laughed. You did a good job, Raynare-chan, said Madara, stroking Raynare's cheek. Now, where is the sacred gear? It's right here. Raynare replied quickly as he handed over the sacred gear. Madara held the sacred gear in his hands and held it close to his masked face. Remarkable. Madara said before putting the sacred gear away, hiding it in her cloak. He turned to Raynare once more. You remember what I told you to do, right? Raynare nodded as he crafted a light spear. He threw the spear of light against one of the church windows, breaking it. Then he spread his wings and flew through the opening that had created, disappearing into the night. Well, that's all. Madara said to himself. Are you the one behind all this? I will kill you, Issei yelled as he attacked Madara. Issei, no. Rias yelled, but his call went on deaf ears. When the Issei sacred gear nearly made contact with Madara's mask, Madara took Issei's punch. Before Issei could get over her surprise, Madara punched Issei in her stomach. The sheer force of the blow sent Issei flying across the room. Issei. Madara grinned. It's not even worth dancing with you. You should learn to control your slaves, Rias Gremory. Rias looked at Madara. Who are you? Rias asked. Madara chuckled. I am Uchiha Madara. But that doesn't matter for now. My current goal has been achieved, so I take my leave. But I'm sure we'll see each other again. Madara's body turned into a flock of crows. The crows flew out the same window Raynare had come out of, leaving Rias and her nobility to their own thoughts. Raynare was sitting in an abandoned house she had found. She was having trouble coping with this new feeling he was having. She was scared. She didn't know what to do. Would Madara kill her now that she had served her purpose? Would she just leave him to rot, waiting for a demon or exorcist to take his life? You look quite nervous. Raynare's head snapped in the direction of his voice. Standing in the room was Madara. Madara-sama. Raynare exclaimed as he stood up. I'm glad you're okay. I'm sure of it, Madara said as he approached her. Madara-sama, can I ask you something? Raynare said, fiddling with her fingers awkwardly. What is that? Raynare took a deep breath. What's going to happen to me now? Naruto frowned under his mask. He had to give it to Obito. He could never act like that man. The real Madara would have no problem killing her right now. But Naruto wasn't Madara. Probably he would have regretted this decision. You will stay with me from now on. Raynare's eyes widened. To Naruto's surprise, Raynare threw it, sure, whatever. Madara said as she awkwardly rubbed Raynare's back. Come on, it's time for us to leave, we'll talk further in my hiding place. Madara used Kamui to transport himself and Raynare to his apartment. Naruto sighed as he sat in his carriage with Raynare sitting next to him. He took off his hood and mask, revealing his face. Raynare blushed at Naruto's handsome features. Very good. Naruto began. We have to go through a few things first to make it work. When I wear my mask, you will call me Madara. When we are with other people and I don't wear my mask, my name is Uzumaki Naruto. When we're alone, you can call me whatever you want. I understand? Raynare agreed. Naruto smiled slightly in return. Well. Second, you can't prove you're a fallen angel. Raynare looked confused. Let me explain. I just got my hands on the sacred gear and we need to be quiet for a while. So if someone recognized you, we'll use a little story to cover it all. If anyone recognizes you, we'll tell them I found you on the street, bruised and bleeding. You suffer from memory loss, so you don't remember anything. Now we need some sort of name to identify you. Naruto said as he scratched his chin thoughtfully. Well, I used to call myself Amano Yuma, when I killed that demon boy. Raynare said. Perfect. This will be your name in public from now on. Now you must be tired of the events of this day. Let me walk you into the room. Naruto got up off the couch and walked towards his room, Raynare following in his footsteps. Well, I guess that's the sofa for me tonight. Naruto murmured to himself. Good night, Raynare-chan. Good evening, Madara-sama. Naruto left the room, leaving Raynare to rest from him. He made his way back to the sofa and sat down on the sofa with a weary sigh. Naruto closed his eyes and leaned back, enjoying the silence of the night. What the hell's wrong with you? Naruto's eyes widened as he saw a very angry Uchiha Madara standing in front of him. Oh what the hell, Madara-chan, I was just enjoying all this peace and quiet. Naruto said, rubbing his eyes. So sleep is all you care about now, huh? What were you thinking? We're going to get into a lot more trouble thanks to the fallen angel here now. Hell, isn't it enough for you to work with that red-headed woman? Madara yelled at Naruto. Do you have your period on something? Before today you were so proud that I had all the women, and now you're suddenly nervous because an ally got us. You said it yourself, Madara, we can't kill her. She is our only connection to fallen angels now. Naruto tried to reason. She is not our ally. Madara spat. She is just a mere tool. Are your ears dead or something? She cheated on his boss. His connection to his leader is next to nothing now. You should have killed her, that's what I would have done. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Yes, but I'm not you, Madara, killing won't help me achieve peace. His death would not have brought peace, but it would have saved us a lot of trouble. If you can't even act like me, how are you going to maintain your cover with the fallen angels? What if the demons find out? You're walking on thin ice now, Naruto. Don't worry, I've already covered everything. We'll have to wait until Itachi arrives, then we can get on with our business. Naruto said as he lay down on the sofa, making himself comfortable. I'm very tired, so good night Maddie-chan. Naruto fell asleep, not realizing Madara's eyes were still watching him. Maybe it's time for me to interfere soon, Madara told himself. Naruto woke up to the sound of birds singing. He yawned as he sat down. It sure was better than waking up every morning to that godforsaken alarm clock. Naruto rubbed his eyes as he reached for the phone on the coffee table. He raised an eyebrow at what was written on the screen. 8 missed calls from Rias. Oh shit, and I have to meet her again today. Naruto said, rubbing his temples. He already had a lot in mind and Rias made it worse. Now you just have to hope he doesn't have yandere tendencies, said a voice suddenly. Naruto turned his head to see Madara standing next to the sofa, a slightly amused expression on his face. Hello, Maddie-chan. Are you still mad about yesterday? Naruto asked as he stood up from the couch, stretching his back a bit. Madara sighed. I still don't like the fact that the woman is staying here, but as we have already concluded, she is our only connection to the fallen angels. So I guess I'll have to take care of that. Naruto's eyebrow raised. Are you saying I don't take it well when things don't go my way? Madara said, smiling slightly. Naruto smiled. Of course I am. Speaking from my experience, I can say that Uchiha leave their village when things don't go their way. Madara snorted. Go wake up the fallen angel. I don't think it's wise to keep that evil woman waiting any longer. Naruto sighed as he started walking towards his room, Madara following in her footsteps. Naruto opened the door a little, so as not to intrude whether Raynare was getting dressed now or something. Time to wake up, oh yeah, Madara-sama. Naruto's brow furrowed. He decided to enter the room to check if everything was okay. She stumbled to see Raynare, who appeared to still be sleeping, hugging a pillow with a blush on her cheeks. Oh, Madara-sama. I like it when you touch me like that. Naruto's eyes widened as he saw that one of Raynare's arms had slipped under the blanket, and he moved in a nice, strange way. Madara was barely holding back his laughter as Naruto's eyes twitched violently. Naruto walked over to the bed and shook Raynare's shoulder. It's time for you to get up, Raynare-chan. Naruto said, trying to stay calm. No, another 5 minutes, Madara-sama. Come now. Madara-sama, my legs still hurt. Get up. Raynare let out a squeal as he rolled off the bed. He looked at Naruto with wide eyes, realizing that he had been there the whole time. Madara-sama. Yes, the only one. Now let's go, it's time for breakfast. Naruto turned quickly to hide the blush on his cheeks and started walking towards the kitchen. His eyes narrowed once more as he heard Madara's laughter echoing through his apartment. Naruto motioned for Raynare to sit at the table while he ate some cereal. He soon joined her with 2 bowls of cereal. Sorry if it's not good enough for your taste, I'm not the best cook. Naruto said as he started eating his cereal. It's okay, Madara-sama. Raynare managed to stammer, her cheeks still flushed. Naruto rubbed his forehead as he looked at Raynare. Look, I have a meeting with a, work contact of mine today. So you'll be here alone for a while. Do you think you can survive this? Raynare's eyes widened. Only? What am I supposed to do without you? Raynare asked. Naruto blushed once again as he took the question differently. You'll be fine. Of course, don't touch anything, don't open the door if someone knocks or rings the bell, and please, for the sake of all that is sacred. Raynare's eyes fixed on Naruto. What was I going to tell him? Some kind of sacred gear, a sacred sword, or perhaps the ultimate weapon of destruction. Don't touch the ramen. Raynare almost fell off his chair in response to Naruto's answer. Sorry Madara-sama, but how is the ramen? She was interrupted by the sound of the door closing. Raynare ran to the window and saw that Naruto had already left for his meeting. Raynare pouted as she crossed her arms under her breasts. He left without saying goodbye, he moaned. Naruto was walking calmly through the streets of Kuo, checking his phone. He sighed as he began dialing Rias's phone number. Well, here you go. Naruto told himself as he started calling for Rias. Hello? Rias's voice answered. Hey, Rias, that's Naruto speaking here. Naruto said in a slightly nervous tone. Hello, Naruto-kun. Rias said in a sweet tone. Naruto gulped. I guess you didn't forget about our little meeting today? Of course not. Naruto said quickly. So where can I find you? He asked. Why don't we meet at the fountain in the park? We'll see how it goes from then on. Rias answered, his voice still soft. Okay then. I guess we'll see you there then? I can't wait. Rias said before hanging up. Naruto sighed. Well, she didn't seem too mad. I wonder why she was calling me so much. Naruto wondered. These are probably the events that took place in the abandoned church. Madara's voice said suddenly. I swear to God, Madara. If you suddenly appear during my meeting with Rias, being a ghost will be the least of your worries. Naruto threatened. Madara chuckled. No promises. So, see you at the park? It's becoming some sort of iconic place for supernatural beings or something. Naruto smiled a little. Yeah, I guess that font is really some kind of hotspot. Naruto and Madara continued talking to each other as they walked to the park, ignoring the stares Naruto was getting from people, as I. It would have felt lonely without the Uchiha by his side, and Naruto hated feeling lonely. Well, here we are. Naruto said as he sat down on the edge of the fountain. It hasn't arrived yet. Naruto sighed. Madara smiled slightly when she saw Rias slowly approaching, probably trying to sneak up on Naruto. Don't worry. He'll be here soon enough. Madara said in an amused tone. Did you say something, Maddie-chan? Madara had already disappeared from Naruto's side. Maddie-chan? Naruto looked around a bit, looking for Madara, but realized he was already gone. Naruto suddenly felt a presence approaching him. Before Naruto could turn his head, a pair of arms wrapped around him and someone's face began rubbing his neck. Oh, Naruto-kun, I was so worried about you. Why didn't you return my calls? Rias asked, hugging Naruto tighter. Naruto, who was having difficulty breathing, swallowed. I was very busy. I hope nothing bad happened, Naruto said. Do not worry about it. Nothing too significant happened. Naruto's eyes narrowed. He was trying to save someone from their ripped sacred gear. Anything significant? Naruto quickly replaced the expression on his face with a smile. Why don't we go get something to eat? We can catch up while we do it, Naruto said as he stood up. Rias smiled as she stood up too, placing her arm under Naruto's. Mark the way Itachi looked out the train window, trying to collect her thoughts. There was something wrong with this Deodora, but she couldn't figure it out. Why did we choose this method of carrying? Itachi asked as she glanced at Deodora, who was seated across from him. Deodora smiled. I could use my evil magic to transport us to Kuo, but it wouldn't be so nice. Besides, isn't it a nice break from running away from all those exorcists? Deodora said, pointing to the landscape outside. Itachi nodded before closing his eyes. What are you doing now, Naruto-kun? Itachi thought. Itachi's thoughts were interrupted by Deodora's voice. Then why are you talking to Kuo, Itachi-san? I will meet an acquaintance of mine, Itachi answered, without opening his eyes. Oh, what a coincidence. I am also meeting an acquaintance. Well, we are actually more like lovers, Deodora said, her smile didn't fade for a second. Interesting, Itachi said, not caring. She is a nun. A girl with a very good heart. Once she healed me, knowing fully that I was a demon. Deodora seemed to fade away, her smile becoming a little more evil. He then hit Itachi. Normal healing skills could not heal demons, so it could only mean one thing. Deodora was behind the nun who owned the sacred gear who was transferred here from Italy. Itachi slowly opened his eyes, replacing his usual black orbs with red ones. Unfortunately, Deodora made the mistake of looking directly into Itachi's eyes. Why don't you tell me more, Deodora-san? Rias and Naruto were now sitting on a bench, eating dango. Rias was sitting very close to Naruto and leaned lightly on him. Naruto looked at her with a raised eyebrow. Since when did she get so clingy? Naruto wondered in his mind. So, Rias, did anything interesting happen? Naruto asked, trying to strike up a conversation. I have a new member for my nobility, Rias said as he took another bite of his dango. Naruto's eyebrows raised. Oh really? Tell me a little more. Naruto said, his interest was at its peak. Good, now he is a bishop. She is the same nun Issei met, by the way, her name is Asia. Had a sacred gear, but it's been removed. The extraction process kills the wearer of the sacred gear, so I resurrected her as the devil. Rias concluded. Naruto's eyes widened as he cursed to himself. This wasn't going according to plan. He was supposed to return a replica of the sacred gear to the nun and improve her standing with the church. Now that he was a demon, his entire plan had fallen apart. I have to wait for Itachi now until he can make a move against the angels, Naruto thought. Are you okay, Naruto-kun? Rias asked with a little concern in his voice. Sorry, I got a little distracted. Naruto replied with an apologetic smile. So, are you good as a bishop? Rias sighed. Since Asia lost her sacred gear, she lost her main power. So I asked Akeno to teach her some easy spells and train everyone else a little, so I can have my free time for you, Rias said as he rested his head on Naruto's shoulder. Surprisingly, Naruto didn't feel perturbed by Rias's actions. In fact, he didn't seem to care at all. Suddenly, a question flashed through Naruto's mind. Tell me, Rias. Naruto began. Rias looked at Naruto before she started to smile. First, it was thanks to your power. It was an incredible opportunity, I couldn't pass it up. But then I started learning more about you. And I really only have one thing to say about you right now. Rias spoke in a soft tone as he placed his hand on Naruto's cheek and moved closer to his face. And what could it be? Naruto asked. Rias moved even closer until Naruto could feel her warm breath near his ear. "I care about you, Uzumaki Naruto," she whispered in his ear. Suddenly the ringing sound of Rias was heard. Rias sighed as she answered the call. "Hi. For the love of Lucifer, what did he do now?" "All right, I'll be there soon," Rias said before hanging up. "What happened?" Naruto asked. "Apparently there was a small accident during Akino's training," Rias replied in a rather annoyed tone. He turned to Naruto with an apologetic smile on his face. "I'm sorry Naruto-kun, I really have to go now, but I'm sure we can continue spending our time together later." Rias said, his voice a bit sultry at first. "End." Rias quickly kissed Naruto on the cheek and ran off. Naruto touched the spot where Rias had just kissed him. Well, it escalated quickly. Somewhere in a posh apartment, a rather tall man with gold-fringed dark brown hair and a goatee was relaxing on a couch, sipping some wine. "You must be Azazel, leader of the fallen angels," a voice echoed from the corner of the room. Azazel lazily turned his head to see a man in a black cloak and orange mask step out of the shadows. "Do you want some wine?" Azazel asked casually as he reached for the bottle of wine. "Unfortunately, I didn't come here to drink," Madara said calmly as she sat down on another sofa opposite the one Azazel was sitting on. Azazel shrugged. "As you wish," Azazel said as he poured himself another glass of wine. The two remained silent for a while. Madara silently watched Azazel drink glass after glass. That is until Azazel broke his silence. "So, what does the great Uchiha Madara want from someone as humble as me?" Azazel jokingly asked. "I see you really know who I am," Madara said, slightly surprised. "Obviously. You're the one who used Raynare-chan. I heard you scared the shit out of her. So what happened to her?" Azazel asked as he took a sip of his wine. "I killed her," Madara responded quickly, hiding the truth from Azazel. Azazel sighed. "It's a shame. She was a good girl before refusing to follow orders, and I wanted to give her breast one last squeeze." Azazel then made a squeezing motion with his hand with a rather desperate look on his face. "You seem to be quite interested in a woman's possessions," said Madara, slightly amused by Azazel. "Breasts are a beacon of hope for men, my friend. Lust is actually the reason I fell out of the sky," Azazel said to Madara with a smile. A question suddenly appeared in Madara's mind. "How did you know I was the one using Raynare?" Madara asked, a little suspicious of the fallen angel. "Young devils often go crazy, you know," Azazel replied offhandedly, taking another sip of his wine. Naruto's brow furrowed under his mask. It seems that Rias was too excited about her new bishop, Naruto thought. "But that's enough. I assume you didn't come looking for me just to chat," Azazel said. "Indeed. I hear you've done quite a bit of research on the sacred gears topic, but the one thing that caught my attention is your ability to artificially create and recreate sacred gears." Madara then reached into her cloak and revealed 2 small silver rings to Azazel. "I was hoping you could copy it." Azazel's interest has peaked. "May I have a look?" Madara nodded and handed over the sacred gear. "Twilight healing, huh? This is definitely one of the rarest," Azazel murmured before handing the sacred gear back to Madara. "You can do it." Azazel assumed an overly exaggerated thinking pose. Of course I can. But what do I get in return?" "You can keep your life." Azazel shook his head. "And I was hoping we could keep ourselves civil, Madara-san. But I guess there is one thing I want in return," Azazel said as he looked away from Madara. "Spit it out," Madara asked. Azazel looked at Madara once more and smiled. "I want you to fight me." Madara blinked. "Do you have a death wish?" Azazel laughed. "Are we confident? I like that. I am really interested in your skills. Why don't we have a little match? No death match of mass destruction, just a little match to test each other. If I think you're good enough, we'll work together. And I certainly hope that the strongest bond of friendship will be established between us, Azaz." "On the outskirts of the city, near a pond, so as not to frighten all the poor. Or is he offensive to your kind?" Azazel asked, mildly amused. "I couldn't care less," Madara replied before using Kamui to teleport to the battlefield location. Azazel closed his eyes and smiled before walking away. Madara didn't say anything when he saw Azazel appear. The two stared at each other for what seemed like an eternity. "Okay, let's not go all out and avoid killing each other," Azazel said as he began to stretch, warming up for the fight. "No promises," Madara said in reply, having not moved a muscle since Azazel appeared. "Ready or not, Madara-san, here I come," Azazel yelled. Suddenly, 12 black wings sprouted from Azazel's back. Azazel formed a light spear in his hand and flew towards Madara with incredible speed. Madara didn't move, completely unfazed by Azazel's attack. As soon as the spear of light made contact with Madara, Azazel speared Madara and nearly crashed to the ground were it not for his wings lifting him up. Azazel turned to see Madara still standing in the same spot, completely unharmed. That. Azazel muttered in disbelief. Had Madara become intangible when he was about to strike him with his light spear? Come on, is that all you have? For the leader of the fallen angels, you seem to be a great disappointment. Madara grinned. Azazel smiled. Oh, I have so much more in store. Azazel flew into the air, created multiple spears of light and started throwing them at Madara. Madara gracefully dodged them, leaping high and somersaulting in the air. Madara noticed that Azazel was pushing him towards the lake. Madara jumped back and knew that when he landed, he would land in the lake. Azazel laughed. I hope you know how to swim, Madara-san. Azazel yelled in amusement. His amusement faded as soon as he arrived when Azazel saw what Madara was up to. She was standing in water. Azazel's eyes were wide open and his mouth dropped. Impossible. What are you, the next fucking Jesus? Cried Azazel in shock and amazement. Madara said nothing as he began to quickly examine the hand seals. Azazel only raised an eyebrow when he saw Madara's hand moving quickly. What are you doing? Water dragon technique. Suddenly, a giant dragon made of water rose from the lake. The dragon opened its mouth and pounced on Azazel. Azazel didn't have time to dodge when the water dragon struck him, dragging him back to the ground. Azazel coughed a little as he slowly stood up. This was certainly unexpected. Azazel didn't have time to continue speaking as a huge ball of fire approached him. Azazel quickly dodged the fireball and watched it explode before his eyes. Azazel turned his head to see Madara standing a few meters away from him. Water and fire, huh? And the way you're using it. Is this some kind of new magic I haven't heard of? Asked Azazel with a smile on his face. Madara chuckled softly. Oh, trust me, this is way more special than any kind of magic. A bunch of shurikens shot out of Madara's eye and headed towards Azazel. Azazel quickly formed a light spear and deflected all the shurikens with it. Madara ran towards Azazel and engaged in hand-to-hand combat with him. Azazel didn't have much trouble keeping up with Madara, quickly parrying and dodging punches and kicks, but he was annoyed that Madara seemed to see through his every move. His thoughts were interrupted by Madara's uproarious laughter. Now that's a good dance. I haven't had so much fun in years, shouted Madara, still laughing maniacally. Dance. Hey. Well, Madara-san, I'll get your ass from here to hell, yelled Azazel, who was also starting to enjoy the fight. Azazel was about to grab Madara's wrist to drag him through the air, but was stabbed yet again. As Azazel passed completely through Madara's body, Azazel felt Madara's foot connect with her head. He flew off from the force of the kick and slid to the floor. Let's take this to the next level, Madara muttered to himself. Azazel slowly rose from the ground, only to find himself dodging a rather large sword made of some sort of energy. Azazel looked at Madara once more with wide eyes. Madara was surrounded by the upper body of a large skeleton. The skeleton wielded two blades and was surrounded by a black aura. Impressive, isn't it? That's one of my most special skills, Susanoo. Madara explained. Susanoo, what is she doing? Azazel asked, extremely intrigued by Madara's skill. You're about to find out. Madara yelled. Her skeleton began to rotate rapidly around her blades. Azazel started having trouble dodging them and took a hit. He hissed as he watched his bleeding hour. Your Susanoo is very impressive, Madara-san. But how you gonna hit me while I'm in the air? Asked Azazel mockingly. Yusaka Magatama. Suddenly, Madara's Susanoo fired some sort of rapidly spinning energy projectiles at Azazel. Azazel's eyes widened as he realized he didn't have time to dodge. The bullets hit Azazel directly and created a small explosion in the sky, knocking Azazel to the ground once more. Azazel realized he couldn't move. He managed to turn his head slightly and saw Madara approaching. As soon as Madara was next to him, he lightly tapped Azazel's body. Oh come on, are you taking advantage of the weak now? Azazel asked with a weak smile. Madara chuckled. I don't take advantage of the weak. The weak are not worth my time. To Azazel's surprise, Madara extended his hand towards him. Azazel's smile widened even more as he grabbed Madara's hand and stood up. This dance was certainly interesting. Madara praised. Can you recreate Twilight healing for me? Of course my friend. The sacred gear isn't extremely difficult to build, so it will probably be ready in a few days. Azazel exclaimed. Excellent. Now is the time for my departure. I look forward to working with you, Azazel, and I hope the same as for you. Madara chuckled as she disappeared into the swirl of her Lei Kamui. Azazel's smile threatened to break his face. Oh, you have no idea how much I look forward to it, Madara-san. Naruto sighed as he looked up at the moon. A few days passed and Naruto was once again disguised as Madara, waiting in Azazel's apartment for Azazel to return with the sacred gear. But Naruto wasn't thinking about that. His mind was elsewhere. He was thinking about Rias. Ever since their little encounter, he couldn't get her out of his mind, especially what she had told him. Naruto's advances on Sakura were mostly ignored, with Hinata simply telling him that she had always loved him. But Rias just said she was interested, and that confused Naruto to no end. Perhaps she should have listened to Madara. Had he kept his relationship with Rias strictly professional, he wouldn't have had these thoughts running through his mind. Sorry to keep you waiting. Azazel's voice suddenly rang out. Well, here is the finished product. Azazel walked over and handed the sacred gear to Madara. Madara took his time looking at it, noting that it was an exact replica of the original Twilight healing. As I said before, artificial sacred gears are always inferior to real ones. This will heal wounds slower than the original Twilight healing, which makes it less viable if you want to use it in the middle of a fight. Azazel explained as he sat down on the couch. I see. Madara answered and hid the sacred gear in his cloak. Azazel. Madara began. Azazel looked at him idly before drinking some wine. Since we are working together, I was hoping you could provide me with some information. As much as I hate to admit it, I still don't know much about the supernatural world. Of course, my friend. Azazel exclaimed with a smile as he poured himself a glass of wine. So what do you want to know? Azazel Sensei will teach you. Madara shivered a little when Azazel called himself Sensei, but quickly regained his composure. I need to know a little more about the demons in this area, Madara said. Azazel took a sip of his wine. Well, there are two nobility you should keep in mind. You've already met one. The kings of the nobles are both part of the 72 pillar clans, the most prestigious and important clans of the devil. And both are related to one of the present Satans, the leaders of the demons and the rulers of the underworld. Naruto's eyes widened behind his mask. He knew Rias was part of a large clan of demons, but the fact that she was actually related to one of the leaders of the underworld was a completely new discovery. He now knew he simply couldn't afford to lose the link with Rias. Naruto sighed before diving once more into his role as Madara. Tell me more about these Satans, Madara said. There are 4 of them. They got their positions after the original 4 Satans died in the Great War. Azazel was surprised as he drank another glass of wine. You have Searzek's Gremory with the title of Lucifer. You have Ajuka Astaroth with the title of Beelzebub. Then there is Seraphal Citri with the title of Leviathan. And finally Euphalbium Glacia Labilas with the title of Asmodeus, finished Azazel. So Rias is related to the current Lucifer. Naruto concluded mentally. So what exactly do you do, besides running the underworld? Madara asked. Searzek is in charge of internal affairs. Ajaku is in charge of the technology department and is also the inventor of the evil pieces system. Seraphal is in charge of foreign affairs and Falbium is in charge of military affairs. Azazel explained. Madara nodded to himself as she leaned back. So, what's your current position with demons? Azazel chuckled sheepishly as he rubbed the back of his neck. Not very well. Basically Raynare screwed up disobeying orders and messing around with that Gremory girl, and then you have Kokabiel. Azazel said the name with a bit of contempt in his voice. It looks like you don't like this Kokabiel, Madara said as she leaned forward. He is basically the second leader of Grigori, our organization. He is a warmonger and enjoys war tremendously. The man basically thinks I'm desecrating the Grigori with my interest in sacred gears and letting humans who have them join us. He is actively looking for ways to pursue war, while I seek peace, Azazel concluded with a sigh. Well, you're not really looking for peace, said Madara, which made Azazel raise an eyebrow. You just sit here in your apartment all day, drinking wine and playing with the sacred gears, and hoping that peace magically comes to you. This Kokabiel's aim may not be the best, but at least he gets in on the action. In the meantime you do absolutely nothing. Azazel sighed before opening a new bottle of wine. I think you were right. Are you interested in wine? Offered Azazel holding another cup in his hand. Yes, actually, Madara said as he accepted the glass. Azazel's eyes widened as he focused intently on Madara's mask. Madara slowly brought the glass up to his mask, using his other hand to grip the mask. He began to lift it slowly. Azazel almost started jumping early. Madara then turned around, flipping Azazel onto his back. Madara drank his glass of wine and turned away, the mask back on his face. This wine is quite tasty. Madara replied nonchalantly. Azazel's eyes narrowed at the fact that he couldn't even see Madara's face. So, Madara-san. You have recreated your sacred gear and now we are working together. What is the next step in your big plan? Azazel jokingly asked as he poured himself another glass and began to drink it. I'd actually like to meet Kokabiel and maybe some other fallen angels. Azazel choked on his wine. That? You are crazy? What do you want to achieve with that? Kokabiel will probably try to assassinate you or something. He doesn't even know he works with me, yelled Azazel. Oh, what is this? Didn't Azazel tell his accomplices that he had a new partner like a good fallen angel would? Your mother would be disappointed in you, Madara said in a mocking voice. Azazel only grunted something in response. Okay, I'll tell you where you can find Kokabiel. But if you get killed or something, don't be sad if I'm the only one going to your funeral. Madara chuckled as he activated his Kamui. Anything. Just make sure Azazel says things like that to Uncle Madara next time. Because Azazel is a good boy, right? Put a lid on it already, you bastard. Naruto sighed in satisfaction as he lay back on the bed. After throwing Raynare out of her room, who had insisted they sleep together, she immediately crawled into bed. He really wanted to rest. To keep Azazel from getting drunk and keeping Raynare in check turned out to be more taxing for Naruto than he had thought. Just as Naruto was about to fall asleep, he heard a sound in his room. Naruto slowly straightened up and looked at the figure that had appeared in his room. It was Rias. Naruto sighed in annoyance. Look Rias, I'm really tired. So I guess whatever prompted you to show up in my room in the middle of that damn night can wait until tomorrow. Naruto then proceeded to lay down on the bed. However, Rias remained silent as she walked over to Naruto's bed. He climbed on top of him and started riding Naruto. What the hell are you? Naruto-kun, I want you to take my virginity, Rias suddenly exclaimed. Naruto was silent for a few seconds, an impassive look on his face. That was until Naruto's mind processed everything, and all hell broke loose. What the hell, woman? Naruto yelled. What kind of mental disorder do you have, entering my house and giving me only your virginity? Please, Naruto-kun. Rias grabbed Naruto's hand and placed it on his chest. We must hurry. Naruto jerked his hand back, straightened up and gripped Rias' shoulders hard. Rias let out a small squeak in response. Look, Rias. Naruto said in a stern voice. Rias didn't know what. I see you don't want it, so stop it now. The second thing is, I don't hate things easily. But what I hate is when people lie to themselves. Naruto said through clenched teeth. Rias' surprised expression turned into a sweet smile. But if I really wanted you to have my virginity, he spoke softly. I hope that. The two were interrupted by a sudden light. A silver-haired woman dressed in a French-maid outfit had suddenly appeared in Naruto's room. Stop it, Rias. The woman spoke. This won't help you. What's up with all the women barging into my room at night? Naruto muttered to himself. Graphia. Rias said. We have to go now, Rias, said the woman, now identified as Graphia. Rias sighed as he stepped off Naruto. She gave him a sad smile. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun. But I guess this is goodbye tonight. The two then disappeared thanks to the use of a magic circle. Naruto clutched his head in frustration. I don't follow him anymore, he groaned. To be an evil mind, you let your feelings get in the way a lot. Maddie-chan. Naruto exclaimed as he saw Madara appear in his room. Where have you been all day? I was bored. Despite the information you acquired during your meeting with Azazel, the situation that just occurred was the only thing that could have caught my attention. Madara answered casually. Maddie-chan, what should I do? Just wait until we can go along with the next step of the plan. If you let your feelings get in the way, you're sure to screw things up. This connection you have with that Rias girl will prove extremely valuable to us in the future. If you ruin it, you say goodbye to peace, Madara said. But I'm still confused. What do I look like, a life counselor? I'm not here to help you survive puberty. What happened to the cold-minded man who accidentally killed someone who got in his way? The man who manipulated people to achieve his goals. Now you're just a whiny boy, getting carried away by a girl. Once you are ready to face your problems and get back to the mindset of a shinobi, we will continue with our plans. Until then, you can keep crying because of how confused your feelings are. Madara said sternly before disappearing. Naruto flopped back onto the bed. He's right, I need to sort out my stuff. Suddenly, Naruto's door flew open. Standing in the doorway was Raynare, dressed only in her underwear and carrying a frying pan. Madara-sama. I heard about the commotion and decided to check it out, are you okay? Raynare asked in a worried tone as he ran towards Naruto's bed. Naruto sighed in annoyance and rubbed his forehead. I'm fine, Naruto murmured. Glad to hear that, Raynare said with a smile on her face. Hey, Madara-sama, Raynare began. Yes. Since I'm here, can I sleep with you now? Oh, for God's sake. Naruto sighed as he appeared in the Occult Research Club room, where all of Rias' nobles were already present. Rias had asked if he could come in because he had something important to say. Naruto glanced at Rias, who seemed to avoid his gaze. Naruto decided to sit next to Kaneko, who was eating sweets again. Naruto smiled a little as he looked at Kaneko. You really like sweets, don't you? Naruto asked as he stroked Kaneko's head. To Naruto's surprise, Kaneko started purring in response to his action. Issei had tears of joy rolling down his face as he watched Kaneko's special event purr while everyone else was sweating. He reminds me a bit of Kuroka. Naruto thought to himself. Bucko. Why did you call us here? Issei asked, rubbing the back of his neck. Rias took a deep breath. I have something important to tell everyone. I thought so. Naruto murmured, narrowing his eyes. Suddenly, an orange summoning circle surrounded by flames appeared in the room. A young blonde man dressed in a blazer had appeared in the room. The man had a smile on his face as he looked at Rias. "Rias, my love," the man exclaimed, shocking most of the people in the room. "I take it you're ready to go back to the underworld," the man said as he approached Rias. "Riser Phoenix," Rias murmured contemptuously in his voice. "I do not understand. Who is this guy?" Issei said as he pointed to Riser, only to be ignored. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Azazel had told him earlier that Clan Phoenix was also part of the 72 Pillars. But what business did he have with Rias? "You know I'm not getting married yet." Indeed. A wedding between Bucko and Riser-san was arranged a long time ago. They are dating. Akeno explained with a smile on her face. However, her voice didn't sound very cheerful. "Right. But unfortunately, you have no say, my love," Riser said, smiling at Rias. "You mustn't attach such importance, Rias. I'm sure you'll look gorgeous in a wedding dress, and even more gorgeous when you rip it off," Riser said as he licked his lips. "Keep dreaming. I will never marry someone like you," Rias yelled angrily. Riser just laughed and shrugged. "As I said before, you have no say in this. What do you want to do about it?" "Riser Phoenix, I dare you to an evaluation game." Most of the Rias nobility looked surprised. However, Naruto and Issei looked confused. "What is a ranking game?" Issei asked. "A rating game is a battle between two nobles," Akeno explained. Issei's head turned to Riser. "So you're saying this guy has his nobility too?" Riser smiled as he snapped his fingers, and suddenly a group of women appeared in the room. "This is my peerage." Riser. While Issei raged that Riser had started making out with his queen, Naruto was thinking. He had seen that Riser had a full set of pieces in his nobility, instantly surpassing Rias. From what he heard as he watched the conversation further, Riser also had experience in ranking games, while Rias had none. Naruto knew Rias would lose. He could not help them in this evaluation game, since he was not part of the Rias nobility. He had to avoid this commitment in some other way. "Tell me, Rias. Who is this man? I can tell it's not a part of you, however it's definitely more interesting than your pawn," Riser said as he turned to Naruto. "My name is Uzumaki Naruto, and actually I am not part of the nobility of Rias. In fact, I'm the only human here," Naruto said calmly. Riser smiled as Riser's queen, Ubaluna, started laughing. "Oh, Riser-sama. Your fiancée must be extremely desperate if she's working with an insignificant human being." In the blink of an eye, Naruto grabbed Ubaluna by her throat and lifted her into the air. Riser was about to intervene, but Naruto had manifested Susanoo's arm and was using it to hold Riser. "You like it when I touch your woman in front of you, huh?" Naruto said, touching Ubaluna's chest with his free hand. Though Naruto held her by the throat, he couldn't suppress her moan. "Naruto-kun, stop," Rias yelled. Naruto freed Riser and Ubaluna and sat back on the chariot. Riser took one last look at Naruto before preparing his magic circle. 10 days, Rias. 10 days and then you'll be mine." Riser and his nobility disappeared in an explosion of flames. "I'm leaving now. I have some things to do," Naruto said as he started activating his Kamui. "Naruto-kun, wait," Rias yelled as he ran towards Naruto and grabbed his arm. Naruto deactivated his Kamui and turned his gaze to Rias. "What's wrong?" Naruto asked rather coldly. "Please, Naruto-kun. Don't be angry." Rias started before being interrupted by Naruto. "Who said he was upset? I just have better things to do now. Good luck training for your ranking game," Naruto said before disappearing into the vortex of his Kamui. Naruto appeared in his bedroom. He saw that Raynare was lying on the bed, hugging one of his shirts. He smiled slightly before heading to the closet, pulling out his black cloak and orange mask. "Looks like the shinobi are back," Madara said with a smile as he appeared into the room. "It certainly is. I've been thinking about what you said all evening, Maddie-chan. And you're absolutely right, I have to keep things straight. Rias is precious to our plans and I can't afford to lose her to a spoiled hoodlum. She's time to get to work," Naruto said as he began to put on his cloak. Madara's smile slowly began to turn into an evil smile. "Excellent. So what are we going to do now?" Naruto turned to Madara, his Sharingan already activated. "Let's pay a little visit to Azazel's friend." Naruto, now disguised as Madara once again, stood in front of a large abandoned building. He entered slowly, following the sound of voices. Now she stood in front of a door and could hear the voices behind it. "Oh come on. When will I be able to test all these new holy swords?" a crazed voice asked. "Patience. Pretty soon that bastard Michael will figure out what we've been up to, and with that incident happening in that cathedral in the Vatican, there's no doubt I can start a new war. Finally, I will show everyone that the fallen." There was no doubt. This Kokabiel matched Azazel's description perfectly. Madara kicked the door open and entered the room. He saw a white-haired man dressed in clergy robes standing in the center of the room. The man looked at Madara as if she were some kind of alien. At the far end of the room, a rather tall man with pale skin, long black hair and red eyes, whom Madara assumed was Kokabiel, sat on a makeshift throne with a rather indifferent expression on his face. Hey, what the hell are you doing here? The cosplay party is somewhere else. The white-haired man yelled, pointing at Madara. Madara ignored him and started walking towards Kokabiel. The white-haired man was not happy about this and drew a sword and charged at Madara. As soon as the man was close enough, Madara backhanded him, sending him crashing into the wall. I assume you are Kokabiel? Madara asked casually, now standing in front of Kokabiel. Who do you think you are, you insignificant human being? Do you want to be annihilated? Kokabiel said in an angry voice. Madara ignored Kokabiel and looked him straight in the eye, trapping him in a genjutsu. Kokabiel's eyes widened as he clutched his head, screaming in agony. Kokabiel fell off his throne and started rolling frantically on the ground. Madara, or should I say Naruto, smiled sadistically under his mask. He approached Kokabiel and placed his foot on his chest, exerting a slight pressure. Madara looked into Kokabiel's eyes once more and eased the effects of the genjutsu. Kokabiel wasn't looking at Madara with nothing but fear in his eyes. Not so chatty anymore, huh? Madara said as she began to apply more pressure to Kokabiel's chest, causing him to cough slightly. Unfortunately, I can't kill you now. But first you need to understand a few things. Stop. Kokabiel managed to mutter. Madara laughed maniacally. Oh no, I've just started. I'm not like Azazel, I won't take your talk at all. Now you are my slave. My bitch, you should thank every god if I'm even wasting my precious time on someone as worthless as you. Everything is clear. Kokabiel nodded weakly. Naruto took his foot off Kokabiel's chest, making him cough and gasp. So tell me now, what's your big plan, Kokabiel? Madara asked. Iyo was planning to start a new war. By stealing sacred swords, he hoped to invoke the wrath of the church. Kokabiel responded quickly, slowly getting up. I see. And what is this accident I heard you talking about just now? A cathedral was set on fire in the Vatican. But they weren't normal flames, they were black. This time Kokabiel responded much more calmly. He had seen terrible things after looking into Madara's eyes, but he also had a strange feeling. As if he really wanted to obey Madara. Naruto cursed silently under his mask. Damned Itachi. And I thought you were the thin type among us. Naruto thought. He coughed a little and pulled himself together. Would you mind telling me a little about your little friend here? Madara said, pointing to the white-haired man's unconscious body. That's Fried Selzen, a rogue exorcist. He was initially involved with another fallen angel with the intention of stealing some girl's sacred gear, but after his employer suddenly disappeared, I decided I could use whatever value it had for my well. He looked at Fried with a slightly disgusted expression. Madara sighed. So this was the exorcist working with Raynare. He started walking towards Fried. Wake up. Madara said, slapping Fried across the face. Liberato reluctantly opened his eyes and coughed a little. Fuck you. Dirty cosplayer. Whispered Fried. Look, shame on mankind. Now I'm your new boss. I'm sure we can get along. I'll let you kill many things. Do you think it's okay? Madara asked Fried as if she were talking to a child. Fried's eyes lit up as a crazy smile appeared on his face. Yes. I like you already, boss. Fried exclaimed, standing up as if nothing had happened. Madara stroked Fried's head and turned to Kokabiel. I will be back very soon with your instructions. For now it remains inactive. Don't tell anyone about this meeting. Act like it never happened, okay? Kokabiel nodded in response. I really didn't get your name, my lord, Kokabiel said with a little fear still present in his voice. Madara chuckled as he started activating his Kamui. I am your new god. I will bring peace to this world. I'm Uchiha Madara. Then he disappeared, leaving Kokabiel and Fried alone. Naruto yawned, waking up. Today would be another busy day. He smiled slightly as he recalled yesterday's events. I can't believe the fallen are so easy to subdue. Naruto felt a soft moan coming from his side. He smiled a little when he saw Raynare curl up next to her. He didn't have the energy to argue with Raynare about who was sleeping where last night, so he let her sleep with him. Good morning, Madara-sama. Raynare murmured as she hugged Naruto tighter. Yes, good morning. Naruto replied absently, his thoughts lingering elsewhere. Is something wrong, Madara-sama? Raynare asked in a worried voice. It's nothing, Raynare-chan. Come on, it's time to get up. Naruto and Raynare slowly got out of bed. Naruto sighed as he quickly checked his phone. 12 missed calls from Rias. Naruto looked at the ceiling. He had taken Madara's advice to heart and would not let his feelings get in the way of his plans. But he couldn't help but question his feelings for Rias. I didn't even know her that well. Were they just still allies? Were they friends? Maybe they were something else? Naruto then turned his head to see Raynare get dressed. He could have sidetracked her by scaring her, but she began to grow attached to the fallen angel. So what's the plan for today, Madara-sama? Raynare asked as she hugged Naruto from behind. I probably will. Naruto was interrupted by the ringing of the bell. Naruto sighed and Raynare pouted a bit as he released Naruto from his embrace. Naruto went to the door and opened it. What can I do to you? Hello, Naruto-kun. It's been a while, hasn't it? The person said. The corners of his lips turned into a small smile. Itachi. Naruto murmured. To Itachi's surprise, Naruto wrapped him in a big hug. Do you have any idea how it feels to see someone from our world again? Naruto asked. Itachi's smile widened a bit as he returned the hug. I think I have an idea of how you feel. Raynare-chan. I'm going out. Don't destroy the house while I'm away, yelled Naruto. Before he could get an answer, he had already slammed the door. Naruto turned to Itachi with a broad smile. I guess we have to catch up. Naruto and Itachi were now sitting on a terrace, catching up. Naruto watched Itachi gobble up dango after dango, as if his stomach was a black hole of darkness. I heard you caused quite a stir in the Vatican, Naruto said with a smile. Itachi sighed. It was horrible. I was quietly spying on some people, and then two girls decide to screw it up. I had no choice but to use Amaterasu. Oh come on. Was the great Uchiha Itachi forced to use one of his most powerful techniques on two girls? Naruto said with a mischievous look in his eyes. Itachi looked impassive at Naruto. They were exorcists. I didn't exactly feel like fighting a girl with a holy sword and ruining my chance to get along with angels, Itachi said impassively. Well actually you still wasted the opportunity. You are now wanted by the church. Naruto answered impassively. Itachi shrugged before continuing to eat his dango. For a while they were silent, until Itachi broke the silence. Have you had any luck with demons? Itachi asked as he bit into his dango. This time it was Naruto's turn to sigh. Yes, actually. But that girl has been driving me crazy for the last few days, Naruto murmured hiding his face in his hands. Itachi smiled slightly. You never told me your girlfriend was a demon. Naruto blushed slightly and looked at Itachi who had an amused expression on his face. Don't give me that shit, she's not my girlfriend. More. Itachi added calmly. For God's sake Itachi. Naruto-kun. A voice suddenly screamed. Naruto turned his head and cursed when he saw who had called his name. Rias and his nobility, all dressed in tracksuits, were walking towards him and Itachi. How fucking convenient. Naruto muttered. Hey, Naruto-kun. Rias said. Naruto's eyes narrowed slightly. Rias seemed flustered for some reason. Hi, Rias, everyone. So why is everyone dressed like this? Naruto asked as he looked at the members of the Rias nobility. We are heading towards the mountains to train for the next raiding game. Rias replied. With a little practice, I'm sure we can beat Riser. Rias concluded with a smile. Naruto frowned though. He wasn't so sure if Rias could win the classification or not. If it was the same as before, he would have cheered her on and told her there was no way they would lose. But now he was beginning to see things for what they really were. Then Itachi suddenly decided but inside. We can help you and your friends if you want. Itachi offered politely. Naruto looked at Itachi like he was crazy. Rias turned her head towards Itachi and narrowed her gaze. And who are you? Rias asked. Naruto cursed when he heard suspicion in Rias's voice. How would you explain her whole situation with Itachi? Sorry, I forgot we haven't been properly introduced yet. I'm Itachi, Naruto's brother. Naruto's eyes widened to incredible proportions. It's nice to meet Naruto's girlfriend. Rias's face turned red. Oh I see. Naruto slammed his fist on the table. She's not my girlfriend, damn it. Naruto exclaimed. Rias looked away, a sad expression on his face. Itachi raised an eyebrow at Naruto's behavior. Rias returned his gaze to Itachi. I'm sorry, Itachi-san, but you don't really look like a brother to me. Rias frowned sadly. We get that a lot. Naruto said as he gave Itachi a friendly pat on the shoulder. Sidekick actually wasn't friendly at all. Naruto had noticed that Itachi wanted to channel chakra into his eyes, probably to cast genjutsu with his Sharingan, but he stopped it. Fine, I accept your offer. Maybe I'll be able to see some of your true strength, Naruto-kun. Rias looked at Naruto with a playful smile. Naruto smiled back slightly. Let's go then. Rias yelled as his peers followed in his footsteps, Naruto and Itachi staying a short distance behind them. Why didn't you let me use the genjutsu? Itachi whispered. That would be risky. Some of the devil magic she can use is equal to lower level genjutsu, she would be able to see through it. Besides, showing your share in public isn't the best idea, Naruto whispered. Naruto then smiled. And the best liar in the shinobi world wouldn't need a genjutsu to convince someone, right? Itachi smiled too before the two bridged the distance between them and Rias and his nobility. Naruto didn't notice that Madara had appeared, and was looking at him and Itachi with a smile. Uchiha Itachi, Definitely keep things interesting, Naruto.
That's it for this part, guys. Thanks for listening to this video. If you did enjoy this part of the story, like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more crossover fictions. And thank you all for your support, and have a great day.